Living in progress. I have missed you. Hello, welcome back to my channel. I'm Rachel Frederick. Today I want to share this thought and topic that has been on my mind. I have been doing a lot of contemplation on it, a lot of just going back through my life. Number one, I can't believe that March is here and this year is going to fly by. So I want to really dig into this with you. And where it came from was myself sitting in myself, if that makes sense, not trying, going through the places in my life where I wanted to celebrate the journey and celebrate where I've come from. And I wanted to encourage you to do the same and to give you some thoughts and give you some ideas and maybe some questions to ask yourself if you feel like your life is stagnant, if you feel like your life is just not going in the direction that you desire and you feel like there's something out there missing, like you feel like there's this thing no one's told you about, and maybe you're watching people around you glow up and like change, which that is what we're here to do. That is what we are in this life experience to do, is to change and grow and learn and try and experience, right? And maybe you feel like it's just not happening for you for whatever the reason. Maybe you feel like this is what life is and you've been dealt this hand of cards and that nothing is going to change, so why even try if this is where you're at. And some of the women, typically the women that I get and I work with, kind of are at this point of like this precipice and this edge where they don't know what to do and they're looking for something outside of themselves to help them. And so typically they end up in my inbox and they're really searching for some solutions. And what my answer typically is that the solution is inside of them. And it's not one that I can give to them. So today I really want to get into this idea of your personality is your personal reality. So I made some notes today. I was sending out, some emails and just journaling on this and really writing on this and letting it flow. And I wanted to come and speak out these thoughts to you and speak out some of this wisdom that I've been playing and experimenting and exploring and experiencing and living in my life, so that maybe it'll help you. Okay, so have you, like, how you love yourself, how you be with yourself is how you set the tone for the universe, for the interactions you have in the world, for the people that will be magnetized to you, for the relationships you will call in. It doesn't mean that life will be perfect. It doesn't mean that everything will go your way. It just sets the tone for what you allow and what you will experience, and then how you will move through those challenges. And it all begins with how you determine that to be. And where that comes from is it comes from your mind, and it comes from the thoughts that you think. Now, I do want to say that your mind should not always be trusted, because the mind is something that can be influenced, and the mind can be conditioned, and the mind can be molded through others' thoughts, beliefs, patterns, behaviors, and we actually fooling ourselves to believe that those are our thoughts, beliefs, patterns, and the way that we should do things, when maybe that's not so. Maybe because how you were raised, the beliefs that you were given, that's one idea. But what if you truly asked yourself, is that something you believe and that you choose? And the secret is that you can actually fool your mind. You are not the mind. The mind is within you. A mind is separate from you, and that you can learn to control your thoughts. And what if you so going through human design and really learning what I've been learning, and the exploration that I've been having there, is It is through your eyes that we experience our thoughts, right? So we experience the life that we're seeing, and that the life we're seeing comes from the thoughts that we choose. That saying of beauty is in the eye of the beholder, right? Someone will see a photo, a picture, a painting, anything, and think, that's beautiful. Another person can look at it, the same thing, and say, no, I don't like that. That's hideous, right? So, really, your lens that you view the world, which are all of those things, like your conditioning, how you're brought up, your trauma, the things you experience, that's the lens. It can affect the way that your mind thinks and the way you believe your beliefs and thoughts are. Therefore, the experience that you have in this reality and what your life looks like every day. But the power is, you have the power to change all of that. You have the ability to literally change your life by the thoughts that you think. So we're going to stay to like the thoughts, because another part is the body and the mind and the actions you take. That's going to be a whole separate video, because yes, the actions and the body have to do, but it begins for most of us. Sometimes it can be the opposite way, but typically it begins in the mind and the thoughts that you keep. So questions to ask yourself is, what are the thoughts you keep? Are they of quality? Are they of high good for your greatest purpose? Do you think all the time that you're worthless, that you're good for nothing, that you will never amount to anything? That's probably going to be equal to the reality you experience. If you believe that you are worthy and enough and sensational and, worthy of experience life at its highest, most luxurious bit, that's probably the life that you will experience or begin to see unfolding, right? So where does your thoughts, just think about that. What are the thoughts you keep on a daily basis? Okay? Are those thoughts constantly running on repeat in your mind? Do you allow your mind to go quiet? Do you allow your mind, can you ever find peace from your mind running in your thoughts? And if you can't, I want to encourage you to ask yourself why that is. Are you constantly subject to the thoughts that are playing on repeat in your mind? And then I want to encourage you to ask yourself why, and to maybe explore what some of those thoughts are and why they are there. Why are we avoiding the peace? Do we not know what it feels like to be peaceful in our mind? I remember there was one point in my life, I don't know what it felt like to go to sleep without having 1,000 things running through my mind at the end of the night, wondering why I was tossing and turning all night and not getting a good night's sleep. Because my mind was constantly on go. My mind was constantly worried about thinking about things that didn't matter, right? The to-do list that could have been written down, the thoughts, about a conversation I should have said, or the things that I should have done, or how I should have acted, or what somebody said to me, or what I should have responded. All those things that really didn't matter kept flowing through my mind. Finding peace within my own mind was one of the best gifts I gave myself. We'll save those actions for the other video, but just begin here. How do you nurture your soul? How do you speak to yourself? If you caught my stories today, I wrote kind of like a love letter of like, do you court yourself? If you were to date your own being, how would you speak to her? How would you treat her? How would you embrace her and love her? And, how would you woo her? Do you speak and nurture your soul the same way you would a lover? Right? You are your greatest partner. Your partner is of self. You are 100% you, whole, right? No one completes us. Jerry Maguire. But, right? How do you nurture your soul? Where do you allow fun and joy to come into your thoughts and into your mind and into your energy? Do you believe that you are allowed to have those things? Can you imagine your life even in a way that allows fun and joy and living life with ease and flow, or is it just a dream? Is it just a dream posted on a vision board somewhere for later? For when the conditions are all right and the things happen, right? Can you find that now? What words, actions, and beliefs are surfacing that constantly tell you you're wrong? Life will never be good enough. Things will always be this way. Why even try? One of my clients, we were working on the voice within you, and that speaks to you. When you think of something, let's say you're like, I'm going to do this thing, and that voice pops up and says, you're not good enough, right? Like that voice on the shoulder. We went through an exercise of giving that voice a separate name so that it was defining that outside of us, because a lot of us can, when someone discovering where that voice comes from and giving it a name to tell them to be quiet. And it really helped her process that situation. It actually relieved the pressure of owning that voice, and it helped her place it outside of herself. That way she could dismiss it a lot easier, right? So what's coming up for you when you begin to think about those great things, and then what happens? Where do you meet your edge? What kind of edge comes to you? Was it a voice that someone said? Is it a small line that someone repeated to you when you were younger that's holding you back, that's keeping you thinking that you can ever have those things? Is it a generational cycle from watching so-and-so or your mom or parents or your auntie or someone who raised you be this way, so that means that I have to be that way, or that I can't have that thing because they did not, right? What is telling you that you shouldn't or can't, or that thing is not for you? Begin there. Because remember, where the mind goes, the body flows. The mind goes, the body flows, the energy happens, it will be created, and you will move towards that thing. Another thought that I love is, if you've ever heard of like the words we speak are like spells casted, right? That's why it's called spelling. Literally, the words you speak are what you are creating and speaking out into the universe to bring forth to you. I know, for some of you that might be like a little woo-woo-y, but Rachel's woo-woo-y. So I believe in all of this. And if you're here, maybe you do too. So what spells are you casting? Are you setting a curse upon yourself? Or are you setting a magical wish and a dream? Like, okay, so have you ever thought of a thing and then you got that thing? I remember all the time I would think of my mom calling me, and literally within a few minutes she would call, and I'd be like, I just was thinking of you. Or how many times do you like think of someone and the phone rings and that's literally them, right? You are so powerful. Have you ever experienced the opposite, where it's like you say something like, I don't want to jinx myself, right? You're like, knock on wood. Why? Because your words are powerful. That comes from somewhere. Even if you say that's like a superstition, that energy comes from somewhere. That saying has been passed down because of something. So instead of putting words and thoughts that would harm you or be the reverse of what you want, why not just say, I am wealthy, overflowing, and abundant. Money loves me. My work is of high value and service, right? Rather than saying, I'll never have enough money, no one's going to work with me, and I don't know if I should do this anymore. Like, I'm sorry, that just feels like wrong to say, but that's an example. Which one feels better? What words feel better to you? Right? The first set, like, yes, I want all of that. If you say to yourself, life is always like this, you're going to get more of that because you're asking life to always be like this. right? Saying you have no money, I have no energy, oh, nothing will happen, nothing's going to change. Sister, that is exactly what you're choosing. And you are actually choosing those reasons and excuses over the possibility and the thoughts that you are worthy and enough to actually have the thing that you dream about. But for some reason, either, I mean, there's a lot of reasons, but for some reason, that's not coming through and feeling true enough for you. And that's the work you have to do. Another thing I want to just clarify is when you say, she's just lucky, it's because she has. You are also disqualifying that for yourself. So when we speak about others in a way, you are quantifying that for you because we are all one. You know the saying when they say like, it's possible for her, so I know it's possible for me, right? You're claiming that. She's showing you that that exists. You're seeing that that thing exists in the world. Therefore, if you do dream and desire it, you can have it too. So don't discredit it, claim it instead, right? So what would happen if you gave yourself the chance? I mean, you've been trying this one way of life for so long, right? Maybe if you're with me, probably 40 years. For 4 decades, you have been doing life this way. And if it's not getting you where you want to go, right? What if you just tried something new? What if you gave yourself the possibility to try something new? To just try it. Because what if it doesn't work? Well, you're no different. What if it does? What if it actually begins to work and change who you are? What if it actually begins to move you forward in the belief in yourself? And what if the universe and the world actually unfolds for you and begins to expand in a way that you never imagined? That might be worth it. What if in a year you just started to believe in yourself? You started to claim the things you desired, and you started to truly believe in yourself, and you started to work on the ugly shit inside, and you started to like actually process it and release those negative patterns and like see yourself through the lens of like grace and unlearning and unraveling and being okay in that mess, releasing the shame with that and the guilt with holding on, and just like said, from here now I'm going to try something different. How would that feel? You've already spent 40 years doing it this way, getting you so far. What if you spent a year? What if you spent 3 months? What if you spent 12 weeks, 90 days leaning into that feeling? So this is what I want to offer you today. I want to offer you some claiming statements. So I want you to repeat after me. And this is going to be an exercise of self-will. I have it written down, so I'm going to read these and I want you to repeat and say it with me. Let me hear you. And I want you to really ground into where you're at right now. So take a deep breath. I want you to feel what it feels like to be in your body right now. If you can even know what that feels like, taking some deep breaths. And I want you to feel this, and I want you to say this with me with some conviction. I desire to be a powerful woman. I desire to be respected, to be sought after, to design and desire life on my own terms, to have strong, respected boundaries, to live in a healthy body, to have a positive, resourceful outlook on challenges, to lead others with integrity and clarity with my words and guidance, to be of high value and to be highly valued by others, to be of expensive quality, to be of high standard, to lead with love and grace, to see the world through the eyes of the divine, to lean into adventure and to embrace ease and joy in my life. If anything came up for you, if any of those words and sentences felt sticky or muted or grayed or felt hard to speak, and that speaking them felt like acting, where did it feel bitter in your mouth? Where did it feel solid and true and sure? Were there parts that made you feel uneasy? Were there parts that made you feel like you claimed that? Look into those places. See where you need to explore and go next. And trust in the feeling, in those feelings to guide you to that next right level and that next right place. So journal on it. Get your journal out. Repeat those things again. The ones that felt sticky, explore them down till there's no words left. Let it come out. Look at it and then redefine it. Claim something new. Speak new words for your soul. If there were sticky ones, I want them to be something that you say to yourself or journal to yourself every day till you believe it. Until there's a new thought in your mind. Replace it. Create a new thought. Because remember, your personality, so how you be, is going to be your personal experience. It's going to be what you create and how you exist in this world. Those are my thoughts for today. I hope something beautiful transformed for you. I would love to hear in the comments your thoughts, how that felt for you. And until next time, aloha. I will see you later.